As I told you earlier, my name is Kari Block, and I'm the founder of EarthKind in Bismarck, North Dakota. Our company has the great pleasure of serving the rodent-challenged population. We have the first green rodent repellent registered by the EPA as safe to use indoors. I started my business with nothing more than $50 and a solution to an old problem: mice in a tractor cab. And like most entrepreneurs, this is where I would still be stuck without the help of the SBA Women's Business Program, USDA APUC program, MEP program, 100 or so business books that I've read, and lastly, the great citizens of North Dakota who first purchased my products at the Pride of Dakota trade shows. During this entrepreneurial journey, I started to believe that I really could make a positive difference to farmers, to the handicapped population, of which we now employ 48, and to the environment, all of which I love. But most of all, I started to believe that with a good product and hard work, the American dream was not just a dream. And because of all the assistance I received in North Dakota, I assumed that our government leaders believed it too. But then the dream was replaced by the stark reality when EPA told me that my all-natural product was classified as a toxic pesticide and would be banned from sale. In order to stay in business, my small fledgling company and my great big dream had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to fulfill EPA's toxic six-pack risk assessment under FIFRA law, all for a product made from small family farm grown ingredients on the GRAS list are generally recognized as safe. You would think then that being the first EPA registered green rodent repellent would have fantastic marketing value. And I did, so that kept me trudging on. And you would be right, but there's disadvantages as well to being the first. The first disadvantage that I'd like to share, after spending a considerable amount of resources to prove, both by independent lab studies and federal review, that our product made from balsam fir and corn cobs was both safe and effective to use in the home, we're not allowed to label it like that under current FIFRA law. However, during this time, EPA has issued exempt status to other companies designed in exactly the same way as our product, but instead made with mint or cedar, which are also minimum risk. And furthermore, those companies were allowed to use words like all natural, safe to use around kids and pets, and highly effective, without the same toxic six-pack studies that were required of us. Essentially, this disparity makes it very difficult for consumers to make informed decisions about safety, efficacy, and value when comparing two products side by side and looking at price and looking at labels. Secondly, the initial price of entry is just the beginning. There's ongoing legal fees, compliance, where I need to hire consultants, annual fees to maintain both state and federal pesticide licenses, and mill levies for environmental cleanup that can be as high as an extra 6% on our annual revenues in states like Minnesota. This is a hard pill to swallow when our product has no known health risks, safety, or environmental risks. Thirdly, being a green innovator, we continuously try to improve our product line to better meet the needs of the consumers, which are changing. They want good value, they want green, they want safe. But in order to translate these advancements that we make onto our labels so consumers can understand and simply read what they're getting, each improvement must go through a label amendment process. Let me share with you what this means. In our case, 4 years ago, we desired to update our label to provide better directions and show proven efficacy for new use sites, namely garages and sheds. We had a protocol approved by EPA, did the testing at a certified independent lab. A year later, our study was reviewed and found to support our claim, as the 3 trials clearly demonstrated. But then we were asked to repeat the testing again just to be sure. Over the next year, we repeated the trials using exactly the same protocol as requested, and again, the efficacy study supported our claims. Surprisingly, this time the reviewers wanted to know, how long is a mouse going to stay in the shed? Is it a few seconds or is it a minute? We were told once again that we failed to meet the data requirements and more studies were required. Our congressional office then became involved, but even with the intervention of Senator Dorgan, the last 4 years and $110,000, we still don't have our updated label. The sad irony of this third example is that efficacy studies are not even required for a minimal risk biopesticide, and they're at the sole discretion of the reviewers. So as you can see, any marketing advantages to being EPA reviewed and proven so you can assure your customers' safety and efficacy. There's a barrier because of restrictive labeling, higher costs, and longer new product cycles. In short, basically it's creating a barrier to innovation and small business growth. In closing, there's a lot of good that comes from regulations and government programs. As a matter of fact, I would not be standing here without them. However, there's still ample room for improvement, and that's why I'm here today. So there's two things that I need you to hear today. Number one, I'd like to see ongoing commitment to programs like SBA Women's Business Centers, so enterprising Americans with a passion for entrepreneurship like myself can learn how to better compete in this advanced global economy and create jobs that can be sustained through every phase of growth. And second, I'd like to see EPA guidelines and regulations be updated or at least applied evenly across all minimal risk products so a small business can operate on a level playing field. This will stimulate job growth, as we all know that most new innovations come from small business. It will also minimize large businesses' ability to use the current regulatory laws to their advantage.